Hello, disclaimer, now that I'm up here looking at you, the main thing I wish I thought of is to bring a hip flask this afternoon, but let's see how we get on. So I'm going to talk to you about the Donate Locate app. It was a joint project between the Connection at St Martin's with an agency called Soul London. And I'm going to tell you why I think Donate Locate is part of the answer to this crisis that our sector is experiencing. I think we haven't been making our supporters central enough to the work that we're doing, but this is a really great example of how we can do more of that. So a quick word on the Connection. They're a central London-based homelessness charity, and they're one of the most forward-thinking out there right now. Why is their work so important? Well, Ruben spoke to this earlier, I think. How many of us have walked past somebody who looks like that? Being in London, it practically happens every single day. And I think all of us probably have thought about stopping to help that person, but indecision, hesitation has sort of stopped us from actually going through and doing it. And that feeling of walking away and not knowing what's going to happen to somebody that you know really needs help, it's not nice, and it's something that lingers with me, I know. So why is Donate Locate so great? Well, it's very simple. It's a smartphone app, and it uses an SMS donation to send a GPS signal that reports a homeless person to the outreach team at the Connection. You can choose to donate £1, £3 or £5, and within the app you can see your own donation history, but you can also see a map of all the other reportings that have happened, just to give you a bit of a sense of connection to the other people out there who are also using the app with you. So why is it great? Well, I'd like to thank Paul, actually, for his slide earlier, because they say the first cut is the deepest, so hopefully this won't feel quite so painful. But I think that the key to addressing this crisis in our sector is for all of us to stop ignoring the uncomfortable fact that tried and tested techniques that are based on the principles basically of taking what we can get from data protection and codes of practice, they're unpopular and they're damaging. Just because you can't measure the irritation rate that your marketing is causing doesn't mean it's not happening. And this summer, certain parts of the media have taken control, and they forced us to stop ignoring this fact. We all know that the general public doesn't find admin costs sexy. They want to know that their £5 is the one that's going to be spent on a hot meal, on a mosquito net, to train a guide dog. And it doesn't feel like a good use of our time to explain why admin costs are necessary, worthwhile, and inevitable. We want to focus on telling people why they can help us and what change that they can bring, why we're a good investment in a competitive charity market. But I would argue that we haven't met this challenge as well as we could. While we've been very visibly professionalising how we fundraise and using more and more visible and expensive techniques, we haven't embraced the digital age or the opportunities that it presents us for engagement. And that means that people's attention is diverting from our operational purposes to the ways that we're actually run. And that's why Donate Locate is so brilliant. I think the best way to realign public attitudes towards charities more positively is to find much more exciting ways to engage them with the work that we're doing. It's what people are crying out for. It's an outlet to get involved, but it suits their busy lifestyles. I think we can bring the public back on side by making them feel less like targets who are being exploited for their money and more like genuine stakeholders in our success. And that's why Donate Locate is brilliant. It brings the focus back to what really matters, and that's helping a vulnerable person. By creating this app, the Connection have made everybody an outreach worker. These people using it are out there on the front line. They've got their eyes wide open to the need, but the key is they've got a clear course of direct and remedial action. The donation part of it is secondary. It's really about engagement. I mean, you could almost say that the Connection has an advantage in that their beneficiaries are so highly visible. But if we really thought about it, there must be more that all of us can do to give our supporters a more direct role in the work that we're trying to do. Now, the problem is, I acknowledge it's not straightforward, and Donate Locate had its share of hurdles. It's taken 2 years from that first thought to actually being an app that you can download in the App Store. But I think it has to be worth doing. In fact, I'd argue it's going to be essential to the survival of our sector in the future years. So why else is Donate Locate so clever? Well, it breaks down the barriers to giving, that hesitation that we've all felt. You know, you worry that money that you give straight to a person on the street won't be spent wisely. We know at the back of our minds that it's only a short-term fix for a much bigger problem. And we're not trained to know what to say or do or what's the best advice to give. And sometimes, you know, let's admit it, you can't always be sure who's genuinely in need when you see people begging. But that's why this is so clever. It's not about asking for money, it's about doing something to help. I think premium SMS had so much promise a few years ago, but those of you like me who've run text giving campaigns will know that they don't set supporters alight. You can't even address the person by name if they're new to your organisation when they text. And the only way you have to communicate them with it is within a really strict character limit, half of which is taken up with unsightly opt-out instructions. So for me, one of the big things about Donate Locate is this. Can I get a show of hands? Can you put your hands up if you've got a smartphone? Okay, can you keep your hand up if you've got an app on that phone that uses mapping in some way? Okay, can you keep your hand up if you've used that app in the last week or so? And can you keep it up if you used the map on your phone to find this venue this afternoon? So there we have it. Some of the cleverest innovations are the ones that take genuine insight to integrate a charitable angle into our existing behaviours. Things such as Movember and Triathlon are other really good examples of this. You make the point of engagement much more accessible if it's happening within the context of how people are already living. I mean, for goodness sake, you can even use WhatsApp to send a pinpoint of your location if you can't be asked to write directions to your friend when you're at the pub. So, just to wrap up, what do I think we can learn from Donate Locate? I think it's about making the supporter part of the solution in a much more tangible way, and something that's not just about giving money. I think we can do more to use technology smartly and create a space for our work within people's daily lives. So the key thing is I challenge you to take away and think about how we can all find new ways to do something like this and involve supporters more directly in our work. It's not easy, but the things that are worth doing rarely are. So the final thing to say is thank you. And you've all told me you've got smartphones, so please do download the app and please use it this winter. Thank you.